a sailing ship. Well, I have now bent the keel on. You might remember I was working with two pieces, two thicknesses. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here or not. Let's get down here a little bit. The one was about 3/4, well, they were both 3/4 of an inch thick. The plan calls for 1 3/8 thick, so at 1 1/2 combined, that's 1/8 too thick. Might have been okay, but wasn't that big a deal to power plane it down. I've used 5200, 3M 5200. You can see where I've got it. Got the first piece after I bent it. It's glued down to the stem there, and then I used almost a whole tube of 5200. I glued it down to the bed log, as you can see there. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but I've got a bad mistake, which I think I'm going to be able to work out of. You're going to notice that bottom piece of keel, I've got that narrowed down. It's actually narrower than the top one. You should be able to see that pretty good on the transom back here. See how the top board's wider. I did power plane that top piece of keel down to 5/16 or 5/8. So I took 1/8 off of the 3/4, took it down to 5/8. So the thickness is actually should be 1 3/8, pretty darn close. So we're good on that. And I steamed the after end here the other night and clamped it down. And I told you that I'm going to use cedar strips. I've got one on this side on the shear line. And I'm screwing them into the yoke frames. That's a 16-foot piece. You can see all the strips I've got here on the floor. I milled these out of some cedar deck boards I got at Lowe's. Price has gone up on them. They were about $26 for a 16-footer. And I'm able to get about 10 strips out of these. There's some shorter ones beside there. I found a nice clean 12-foot board. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do with it. Even the keel is 145 inches, so that's an inch longer than 12 feet. I don't know if I may be scarfing together some of these 12-foot pieces, but the board was so clean I couldn't not buy it. Okay, so just for the purpose of somebody else doing this, and don't make this same mistake. When I was doing this and doing these half breadths out of the thing, I got it backwards so that I've got that narrower board underneath. It should be on top. But since I'm going to cedar strip it, I'm not going to bevel the keel. I'll bevel the strip and make the strip fit at the angle that it needs to up there in the keel. So I've kind of got it worked out in my head where I think I'm going to be able to figure that out. Now the next thing that I'm working on is keel bolts, but I believe we'll do another video on that here just in a minute because we're already better than 4 minutes on this. So anyway, that's the current process with steam bending on the keel, and like I said, I've got a mistake. I've got it upside down, and since I've already got that bottom one 5200 down on there, there's no getting it off of there, not without some major surgery, and I'm not willing to do that. I'll destroy that board or the bed logs. We're just going to have to deal with it. I think we've got enough width under there that it'll take the keel bolts, and we should have enough width under there to handle the ballast, the lead keel that we make to put on top of there. So I think it's going to be okay. I've only lost a couple of nights sleep over it.